Welcome to a virtual tour of the Lac La Biche Museum. Located in Lac La Biche, Alberta, our museum features numerous exhibits where visitors can explore our region's natural, historical, and cultural history. We also house a treasure trove of donated photos, maps, and documents from Lac La Biche County in our archives. This tour will feature some of our permanent exhibits on display. We hope you enjoy! Our first stop is the Boreal Forest exhibit. Lakeland Provincial Park features an old-growth forest, over 150 species of birds, 18 species of orchids, and 43 species of mammal, including some of the species you see in this exhibit. Lakeland Provincial Park is located east of Lac La Biche and was Alberta's very first Boreal Forest Provincial Park. It is 147 square kilometers, about 1.5 times the size of Disney World. Wondering why you should care about Alberta's Boreal Forest? Well, it's bigger than Sweden. It's filled with wetlands, provides a home for many plants and animals, provides a home for more than 40 Indigenous communities, and stores more than 14 billion tons of carbon. This is our mink farming exhibit. Mink farming used to be one of the largest industries in Lac La Biche. At its height, there were more than 50 mink farmers here. The road now called Pleasant Acres was once known as Mink Alley. Every year, mink farmers brought both their mink and pelts to shows. Lac La Biche mink farmers routinely took top prizes, despite the smaller size of their farms compared to others. The last mink farm in our community belonged to Otto Fyeth. He closed down in 2007 due to lack of fish. Our next stop is our barbershop exhibit. Abe Haymore retired in 2015 after operating Abe's Barbershop for over 40 years. Many of his clients remember playing cards in the back of the shop while watching the horse races with Abe. Kootenay Billiards and Barbershop was owned and operated by Ernest Kootenay for many decades in Lac La Biche. People from all over the world have settled in Lac La Biche County, seen here in our cultural exhibit. Whether you immigrated recently or you can trace back your family's ties to the area for many generations, the cultural roots of our residents have brought a rich diversity to the region. There are many Indigenous First Nations in Canada, each with their own unique culture. In the Lac La Biche region, the largest First Nations group represented are the Cree people. Other residents can trace their Indigenous ancestry to the Dene, Beaver, Ojibwe, Algonquin, and Chippewan, just to name a few. This is our nifty mid-century exhibit, circa the 1950s. Mainstream societal values of the 1950s were traditional, conservative, and consumerist. Women were encouraged to be wives and mothers, working within the home. Kitchens would have been an essential part of any home. Many of the appliances we use today would have been seen in the 1950s kitchens, including electric stoves, refrigerators, and dishwashers. Advertisers focused their marketing on how their new appliances would make housewives happier and better wives and mothers. Meet Herb Erickson, Lac La Biche's warrior poet. Local citizen Herbert Erickson was a trapper by trade but an archer by talent. He was given his first bow as an 8-year-old child by a Cree friend. By the age of 18, he was shooting more than 100 practice arrows a day, and soon he was winning archery competitions across Canada. He was also an excellent marksman with rifle, lasso, and axe. But the warrior had a softer side. When the spirit moved him, he wrote poetry. This is the Empress of France. The real Empress of France was built in 1913 for the Allen Line and named the Alsatian. This scale model of the Empress of France was donated to Father McGrain as founder of the Royal Canadian Sea Cadets of Lac La Biche, Alberta. In October of 1969, it was presented to the Royal Canadian Legion, McGrain Branch, number 28. Here is our Indigenous storytelling exhibit. First Nations, Inuit, and Métis cultures have long passed on knowledge from generation to generation through oral traditions, including storytelling. Indigenous peoples have diverse cultures that are connected to their region and history, shaping their stories. This exhibit will focus primarily on the oral traditions of the three main Indigenous peoples in the Lac La Biche region, including the Plains Cree, the Woods Cree, and the Métis. This is a space that you would typically see a temporary exhibit installed. The one installed currently is the Silver Screen and the Wild Rose film exhibit. And that concludes the Lac La Biche Museum virtual tour. Make sure to follow us on our social media channels so you can stay up to date on all the new and exciting things we offer. We hope you enjoyed. Stay safe and see you soon.